everybody has their own views, and on the websites or when the Blues and other media outlets, you do sometimes get your cynics as well, but they comment on a keyboard without the full knowledge of what goes on in a football club, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to really target on the cynics on OWEN the Blues, because there is a wider fan base out there. Certainly people that write to me and telephone calls to me that ask for assistance and help, and we do a great deal of work in that respect. There are people on the websites who have a personal view about my activities. I accept that.
Does it hurt though, Barry, when somebody has a real go at you?
Everybody hurts to some extent. What you've got to do is try and see their point of view. Some of it, as much as I like to think otherwise, is born out of a little bit of ignorance on their part as to, and they would argue, well, if you accuse us of that, you should tell us more. Well, I can't always do that, unfortunately. All I can say is that, as far as being a director on this board of directors, is that it serves you no great purpose by being objectionable all the time, because you lose the respect of your colleagues. And whilst it may disappoint some, it's not difficult to work with people who have the same ambitions and objectives in mind. And I've been very fortunate in that respect on the board at Oldham, that everybody has the same interests. But there are times where, as fans representative, my views have been different than the other directors, and I've represented it to the best of my ability, and Simon would support that, I'm quite sure.
So some people will be asked, what is exactly your involvement with the club? First and foremost, the fans representative on the board, obviously.
Yeah, of course it is, and I'm lucky that I have a chairman who understands my position in that respect. When it's come to things that we don't brag about every 2 minutes, because it wouldn't always do for me to go public on everything that's discussed in a boardroom, that I've made some enemies in the past and some volatile exchanges on many things that affect the fans, certainly with regard to season ticket prices and the movement of fans to various sections, and I think we've done quite well in that respect.
The big date coming up, the 14th of April, is the AGM of the Trust, and perhaps it's time to get some more people on board.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Trust has been criticised for a lessening of its activities over 10 years, and I take that on board. I really do take that on board, because it always seems funny to me that trusts come into their element when there are problems at a club. I could virtually guarantee that if problems occurred at Oldham, the trust would be clamouring with members and people wanting to help. Now, what's happened here over the last 10 years is that there's been a comfort zone. The trust has had its own problems internally. It's well documented about some of those problems. It's taken us a while to get on its feet again. We have had, over that 10 years, resignations of directors who haven't resigned because they don't like being trust directors. It's because of in some issues, the recession caused them to have greater work problems. They had bigger things to do, and they had other priorities to complete. And we've reached a stage now where we do need some fresh faces. We intend to recruit 2 new directors at the next AGM, because I'm very mindful that the website needs to be upgraded. We are going to introduce a new system of membership, which will be more inclusive and transparent for people. And I've also arranged for a fans meeting to occur prior to that AGM, so that if anybody wants to come down and tell us how they can help us and query what they want to query, then they're very welcome to attend.
So the Trust's making great strides to improve itself.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism, and I've got to take some of that on board. But again, I point out that the few that are there work very, very hard on top of the jobs. They have full-time jobs to do various tasks on the Trust. And I think it hasn't been out with the sort of Oldham Athletic Supporters Association seem to have taken a step into the background as a result of the trust being formed. But we have to be careful that we're not seen to be usurping what should be their activities.
One of the mini appeals that they did was the player share, which has supplied great funding over the years.
Yeah.
Do you know if that was successful? Did they get more people?
Yeah, what I said to the trust was that after I developed that, in the very early stages of the trust, that there was a clash, and perhaps it wasn't as transparent, and because the trust were administering it, a lot of fans were suspicious of that. So what we did was open that up to more supporters being involved. We've got Tracy and Chris Hill, who are doing a fantastic job with us on that. And it's a result of really their activities, those people. There are a couple of trust directors involved with it. They've done a good job. But Chris and Tracy in particular are getting on with promoting that more than I've ever seen before, and it's due thanks to them. They're doing a great job. And again, I would ask for people, if they can, to contribute to that, because it allows Lee Johnson to come back and make some requests of it.
Because the truth of the matter is that we would have had a couple of players less if they hadn't have stepped in to pay their wages. Yeah,
again, the player share committee are very mindful. They've been very good with the manager on that, because there have been instances where it's been useful. There are perhaps instances where it hasn't worked out as well, but we haven't got a crystal ball to look in and the manager would admit that. So he's very careful to select how it should be used. And so far the committee have been very, very good on assisting him, and I know he takes it seriously, and attended the last player share meeting to discuss things with them.
I'll just put that reminder out, the 14th of April, the Trust AGM, but we'll finish on football, as we should.
Yeah.
Do we still need 6 points to stop up, Barry?
Well, one thing, Gordon, I just hope it doesn't go to the last game of the season against Notts County.
It'd be good for the gate.
It'd be fantastic for the gate.
Bad for the heart.
Bad for the heart, certainly mine. I'd like to think 6, but I have a suspicion it could be 7. I think 51 points is the target, really. And I think we'll get them. I'm pretty sure we'll get them, because I'm confident that the spirit in the camp and amongst the management team is there for us to get them.
Lee did tell us this morning on an interview that it came as a shock, his first season in management. He thought it was going to just be a roller coaster and mid-table and push on next year for promotion, but we found ourselves, through bad luck, through all sorts of things, where we are.
Yeah, we told him. He didn't listen to us at the start of the season, that it wouldn't be simple. I don't like to blame officials, but I look at some of the decisions back on video from games this season, and probably like a lot of other teams, we've suffered at the hands of some pretty bad decisions that have cost us points, but other clubs would argue the same. We started the season off playing some great football, but didn't get the results. He's brought a couple of players in, I think, that have made a massive difference to us, and I think we've got a good squad, but I think he's realised in his first 12 months, Lee, that management's a massive gap from being a player, and he tells me that he's learnt a great deal from that, and he's an honest lad, and he'll be a good manager, or is a good manager.
So in closing, we really go back to the fans. We're all fans at the end of the day, whether you work here, whether you're a director, whether you're on the trust, or a season ticket holder. And if we all pull together, we're all going to be okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go around to other clubs and you see some less friendly than ours. One thing that I am sure of, and I picked this up during the review of the club, that we've got a tremendous set of employees at this club. Not that they just work here, that they'll go that extra step and that extra mile to do what they do. They work over 8 hours on some days and they don't get paid for that, and I respect that. We are a good team, we're a good club, and the fans this year particularly, make your hair stand on the back of your neck with the away support. It has been absolutely tremendous. The noise from some of those people makes you proud to be an Oldham Athletic fan. And again, hasn't it made a difference bringing them all together at home? I think we really need to discuss that and see what the fans think about that, because, yeah, I mean, as you know, when they fill one end of this club, the atmosphere is something I've not heard in this ground before. And it makes you really proud when you're sat in the stand that our fans are singing like they do. And I know for a fact that the players notice the difference, and it lets that adrenaline flow a bit greater. It certainly does with us, and I'm sure it does with the fans. So the players feel that effect, and more of it this season, next season. But we do welcome fans' views on this as to what the seating arrangements should be.
Chaddy End,
Rochdale Road End, who's going back in the Lucas. Any comments about that? Because some great times are to come at this club.
Let's hope so, Barry. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon, and thanks to all our supporters this season.
Thank you.